Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
It's a good idea to check that coverage now because we are expecting a lot of rain this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be wet. It's going to be windy. We're not going to be dealing with the main impacts from what is currently Tropical Depression 4. Certainly won't be a direct hit, but those fringe impacts enough to create for a flood risk that we'll be tracking today and even into tomorrow. Windy with bands of heavy rain. That's going to be the case through the weekend. So outdoor plans, if you can take them inside, I certainly would. For the remainder of this morning, we'll continue to watch those tropical downpours increase from south to north. We've already been tracking those bands rotating in from the south and east. That'll be the case through this afternoon. We will have some periods of dry time. Right now, I know many of us currently getting a little bit of a break from the rain, but this will then be coupled with those ongoing on and off heavy bands of rain, packing those flooding downpours that we'll have to watch out through this afternoon and into this evening. Overnight, we'll still have some of those gusty squalls moving in. It's still going to be windy overnight, and we'll also have to watch for a low-end risk to see an isolated tornado tonight, and especially into tomorrow morning. That's likely when we'll have the best ingredients as soon-to-be Tropical Storm Debbie continues to lift northward. Right now, we're already tracking some bands, though again, currently a lot of us getting a little bit of a momentary break. Up in Broward County, we had a heavier band that moved through the western area, Fort Lauderdale, about an hour and a half ago. They've now since dried things out with some light rain near Pompano Beach, fairly dry across Miami-Dade County. We've seen a little bit more activity down through the middle and lower Keys, where we currently have a couple of showers quickly racing through areas just off to the east of Key West. Winds have also been picking up down to the Keys. Those gusts already of up to 40 miles per hour, but this isn't going to be a big issue when it comes to winds for us, at least locally. Here it is, Tropical Depression 4. We actually just had the 11 a.m. update come in. It's currently moving over western Cuba, and we've seen a little bit of extra organization with this since the last update. Notice some bursts of thunderstorms developing close to where that center is estimated to be. With that, winds have increased to now 35 miles per hour, and additional strengthening is anticipated as this eventually then moves out across the Florida Straits into the Gulf of Mexico, heading into later today and into tonight, where it will become Tropical Storm Debbie by tomorrow morning. From there, it continues that northward track, some additional strengthening looking likely before it then makes landfall as what is currently projected to be along the Big Bend of Florida as what could be a strong tropical storm, but can't quite rule out a hurricane as it makes landfall. And from there, it'll bring impacts out to the southeastern coast, including Georgia and the Carolinas. Not a huge wind threat for us. The better potential of seeing those tropical storm force winds and what will likely will be out across the west coast of Florida. We still have that tropical storm watch, though, in effect for the middle and lower Keys. It is now no longer including the upper Keys. It's been trimmed back, where they have the possibility of seeing some sustained tropical storm force winds. Certainly we'll see that in gusts, but this will be dependent on how quickly Tropical Storm 4 Tropical Depression 4 can become Tropical Storm Debbie here as we head over about the next 12 to 24 hours. Flooding will be our main concern. It's those heavy tropical downpours that we'll really have to watch out for, seeing some flooding, especially for those bands of rain that train over one area for a prolonged period of time. That is why we have a flood watch in effect for all of South Florida today. That'll continue through tomorrow evening, where on average we'll see between 2 to 5 inches of rain, but certainly could see some locally heavier amounts, again, especially for those areas that experience those training bands, and that's where you really get those rainfall totals stacking up. Cloudy skies, we take a look out across Miami. Those gusts have been around 25 to 30 miles per hour across Miami-Dade and Broward County. Bands will continue to move in as we head through the rest of today, coupled with some dry time, but then we'll see these on and off bands pushing through as we head into this afternoon, into this evening. Winds will continue to pick up, especially down to the Keys as we head into late tonight. I do think tomorrow is going to be a little bit drier. That center of Tropical Storm 4, soon to be Debbie, will start to lift northward, and with that, our rain chances will begin to lower, especially as we head into what should be the later portion of your Sunday. So likely going to see a little bit more dry time for tomorrow. Elsewhere across the tropics, the National Hurricane Center is not highlighting anything else. I do think we'll have to kind of monitor this particular tropical wave, though, that is currently pushing out across the central tropical Atlantic. But again, nothing else being highlighted, so some good news there. Your next weather 7-day forecast, still going to be a wet and windy one for your Sunday. We'll start to see some improvements by Monday as that system lifts northward, and then we're returning to more typical rain chances as we head into the work week.
Thank you so much, Casey. Make sure you stay inside, grab that umbrella if you have to go anywhere, and be prepared, weather prepared ahead of this weekend.